Hey everyone! So I'm back today watching more My Hero Academia, and I really liked the last episode. So we got, the big thing that stood out to me was the revelations that we got about Todoroki's past, and that was really tragic. And as tragic as it is, I love stuff like that because I love that he's being fleshed out as a character. Like, I've been super interested in him during this tournament arc in particular. I feel like he's really had a chance to shine. And I think it's always fun to kind of flesh out your characters more. And I'm really impressed with how well they've done that on this show, despite having so many characters. So we started out with kind of focusing on Izuku, and from there to here, like, we have all these like students now that, we know a considerable amount about, at least like a little bit of their background and their motivations and who they are. And like, I can point to most of the characters and be like, oh, that's so-and-so, they do this and that. And so I'm enjoying that. We also found out that Todoroki's dad, Endeavor, is really not a fan of All Might at all and has it out for him. So I'm curious to see where that's all going. And of course, the cliffhanger of the app, which they always do to me, no matter how badly it hurts me, was Izuku fighting this, I don't recall his name, I will learn it. You know how I am with names by now. But he's a super, like, shifty looking guy with the crazy hair. And where we end off is Izuku, right after being warned about there being something off about this guy, we see them in a battle together in this tournament, and Izuku's just straight up paralyzed. So it's like, with Izuku, it's like one step forward, three steps back with all the battle, because we'll see him do something like really cool and pull off this amazing, a feat in a battle. And then, we'll have him go up against something that it's like, oh, here we go all over again. It's something that seems like it's bigger than what he can handle. So, super curious to see more. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. My Hero Academia.
あいつの個性は相当に強力なものだが、実技試験は仮想ヴィランとの戦闘。物理攻撃力のある個性を持つ受験者に有利な内容だった。
You can't control a dummy.
真相のじゃ、そりゃ。
振り向いてそのまま場外まで歩いていけ。
Oh no. No. No, he's come so far. He can't just make him say I give up, though. That's interesting. Come on. Who has a stronger will than Izuku? Like, nobody I can think of. No! What? Oh! Oh my god, what's happening? Don't you dare take another step! This is one for all. He's using one for all right now. Oh, yes! What was that? Like, I knew when I saw the rainbow stuff in the, like, veins. Oh, yeah, it was one for all. No way! He's like linked to the other people who have had it? You know what though? Things haven't come easy to him. Oh, heck no. That's not how it is at all. No! No! Oh! There you have it. Oh, I love that. Oh my god, he just like... That guy just like awoke the beast by punching him.
犯罪者。ヴィラン向きだねって間接的に言われるのは慣れっこだ。そういう世の中、仕方のないこと。
This is a deep and powerful message right here. I love... He's just that one guy who's just always like doing a little dance. I love it.
なんでヒーローに？
でもさ、憧れちまったもんは仕方ないだろう。
その気持ちはワン・フォー・オールを受け継ぐ前の僕と同じだ。
This is deep. Like, this is some deep stuff.
でも聞こえるか、シーソー。お前すげえぞ。
Oh! The same pedal. No. No. You're not gonna get me this easy, my hero.
かわいそうに。あんたまた変にプレッシャーかけたの。
Oh! Really? In his weekend form, you gotta hit him?
真相少年の洗脳に対し一瞬指先だけでも打ち勝ったってことなんじゃないか。
So it was Izuku that did it.
なんか全然釈然としない。
下がるな。次の対戦相手見なくていいの。
あんたもいたってね。
Oh.
いいことです。
But doesn't that kind of mean that he's a former user of One for All in a way?
緑谷が勝ったか。
分かっているのか。兄さんらとは違う。
Siblings?
最高傑作なんだぞ。
What siblings?
それしか言えねえのかてめえ。悪いな。
Oh! I don't think so. Holy crap. Little bit overkill, I think. But it got the job done. And a little how are ya to dad. Everyone's very supportive in this crowd.
やりすぎた。
You think? What nap? I'm just gonna hang out and have fun to the song because I do love Little Glee Monster. And I love cherry blossoms. That's been kind of a running theme. It's in the end credits, and they had, in this episode, we got to see cherry blossoms were kind of like one of the main themes of that little flashback with Shinso. Okay, so that episode was awesome. So, I mean, I would have just been happy with the really cool story that they told with Izuku and Shinso's battle during this tournament. And I thought that was, you know, I would have been just happy with that had they just, like, told that story. But as a little bonus, we got some pretty cool Todoroki stuff, too. So, let's get into it. So, at the beginning of this episode, as you know, I, like, couldn't even remember the guy's name. And I don't know how they did it, but I feel like in the course of, like, 10 to 17 minutes, they told this really great story that actually was really moving. Like, they didn't have much time, but I was, like, really moved by some of the points that they were making with Shinso's story. So in that time, we got, we went from like thinking that Shinso was kind of like this sneaky, devilish kind of character to like seeing that, a lot of times what people think about you and what people tell you that you are and who you are and everything, can really shape who you are and how you see yourself. And that's a powerful message. Like it's one of the reasons why I love anime and I love this show, that we can go from like goofy, like, like that, like them being goofy and silly, and like in one of the last episodes they had like the girls dress up as cheerleaders for no reason, just like crazy silly stuff, and they can go from that to like making these really deep commentaries on society, on politics, on, it's just one of the great things about anime and about My Hero. And I thought it was really interesting that someone in his position who kind of had become this self-fulfilling prophecy of like his quirk kind of made him seem like evil, and that's kind of who he started to see himself as because of it, because of the way that other people perceived him. I thought his take on Izuku was really interesting, and it's really cool to see that like there's people who didn't know Izuku now before he had One for All. Like all we had really seen of people perceiving him, like to me what really stood out was the way that Bakugo perceived him, because he knew him before he had the quirk and then after he had the quirk. And it's cool to see how like people who see him coming in and only know him post Hero Academy kind of see him as this, oh, well, aren't you lucky to have this awesome quirk? Like, who the heck are you? And it's like, oh, guys, no, you have no idea. And it's another good commentary on, like, you can look at people and think, oh, they have this, they have that, well, must be nice, and it could be totally different. So sorry to get all philosophical. I just thought that was really interesting that, in a couple of minutes, in the span of one battle, they told a really good story and had some really interesting life lessons in there too. So I like that at the end, like Shinso got some people actually, praising him and like treating him like a hero and saying like that would be good against villains, instead of saying like, wow, that's kind of like something a villain would do. So that was a great little story. And then, just as like a little bonus, just because they love us, they threw in a really good Todoroki moment too. So we know that he's been trying to only use the powers he got from his mom and not from his dad because of his whole tragic backstory. And we had that little encounter with Endeavor real quick before he goes out and just really lets loose, like in an unnecessary kind of way. But even after that, like we see he really was... that was just a manifestation of like his anger about everything that's going on in his life. Oh my God, another good life lesson that people will like take out their stuff that they're angry about in their own life on other people. Good life lesson. And he immediately like started melting the ice, which inadvertently had to use like his dad's power, even though he wasn't like using it to win. He had already won. But man, it's just such great storytelling, and it's a great character arc that they're building up for Todoroki. Oh, and how could I forget? We also had this huge little revelation about One for All when Izuku had to physically shock himself with One for All in order to break Shinso's quirk over him. So apparently he can like get in touch with the past One for All people who have inherited One for All. I thought it was really interesting that All Might was already in there, even though he's still kind of currently using it, which tells me he's probably being phased out pretty quick, or maybe I'm just reading way too much into it. And we know that they really can't, it sounded like from the way All Might was explaining it, they can't really interact with Izuku, and he can't interact with them. It's just kind of like, it sounds like it's just kind of like flashes of, they can't really like help him, in other words. But that just moved him so much that that's all that he needed to be able to break his fingers and break the spell. So that's really cool. And like for one, I've been so curious about who had One for All before. Like we got a little bit, we got like a tiny little scene at one time where All Might was writing to his mentor. Like his mentor was reading a letter from All Might. But other than that, we really don't know very much. So I'm super curious about that. And I'm glad they kind of like hinted at that a little bit. I'm excited for that to come back later. So, all right. So I've ranted a whole lot about this one episode. I cannot wait to see more. And on that note, I will see you next episode. Bye.